Interesting. Okay, so it says preparing. I think it's definitely the Facebook integration. So we will get started and record this and then drop it into the event. And I'm just going to make sure I am doing everything I should. I am in speaker view right now. We have our chat box, and I'm going to drop the file for the 6 personal perspectives student version so that everyone's got that to refer back to. And then, yeah, the Facebook live feed, I think there's something going on there that isn't working. So we'll just be sure to record this and then drop it into the event. And then, okay, it's 10 o'clock. So good morning, everyone. This is, what is this? Session 4? Are we on session 4 already of the 6 personal perspectives? In the chat box, I just dropped our 6 personal perspectives. Oh, look, there's a little smile. Good morning. Hello. Oh. Someone's jumping on and it says, I need to go golfing. That's hilarious. Who is that? All right. Let me just make sure that we've got everyone muted, and we'll get started. Okay, so this is our 4th session of the 6 personal perspectives, and in the chat box I've given you guys the download so that you can follow along after class, do all the homework, all the things. In the meantime, I am going to share my screen with you, and that way we can go over it together. And so let me go into my share screen and my desktop. And let me just double check, Erin, if you can confirm that you guys can see the 6 personal perspectives on my screen, okay? Perfect.
We can.
Great. Okay, so session 4 of the 6 personal perspectives. This is a class that is truly one of our foundational courses. It's a class that I absolutely love to take, and that's why I teach it. And I think as we go through this curriculum today, those of you who hang out with me are going to put some different pieces together of what makes me tick, because this class truly is something that I feel is foundational to how we can take responsibility for ourselves and for our growth. And so we have been, we'll just do a quick recap review. So the 6 personal perspectives are right here. So the first one is commit to self-mastery, that realization that if I want to master something, I've got to have at least 10,000 hours in. Otherwise, I have no right to complain, whine, or feel like somehow life is unfair, because it just means I have not put the time in yet to be able to truly say I've mastered something. The second step is commit to the 80-20 principle. This is where we talked about how every notification, every single voicemail, email, everything that's wanting your attention does not hold equal value or importance. And so we've done a few fun things along the way where I shared just shut your notifications off, or move some apps around on your phone, because your fingers have muscle memory. And so if you're literally wanting to retrain your brain, do something to mix it up a little. Then step 3, we talked about moving from E to P. E is the entrepreneurial mindset, the very easy kind of, this is what my natural gifts and abilities allow me to do this without really thinking about it. So a lot of people get stuck in this E to P, or the E, because it comes naturally. And so they feel that when they apply themselves to do something new, to learn a new craft, to learn a new language, that as soon as they kind of hit something that there's this resistance, they're like, oh, this doesn't feel natural anymore, so I should just give up and not do this, when in actuality, if you can break through that ceiling of natural ability, you'll get purposeful. P stands for purposeful. And through that, we talked about pain and how as you grow, pain is necessary when you're stretching, when you're growing, just no different than a muscle you're wanting to exercise. There's stretching and there's this painful, messy middle that we go through where we need to bring in accountability. And so now we are on to session 4, which is make being learning-based the foundation of your action plan. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump ahead and I'm going to find us, talked about time blocking and using the 411. There's the E to P, how you bring in accountability. And here we are. So making learning-based the foundation of your action plan. So a learning-based individual is an individual who has made the decision to use effective learning as the foundational piece for their action plan to develop their life. We all know know-it-alls. They're the people that when you start talking, they actually interrupt you and go, oh, I know, right? They're the people who will make comments like, oh, I've already taken that class. Like I attended that class, so I check off a box and then it's not necessary. And yet Gary Keller says that if you want to master a topic, the best way to do it is to literally attend it and treat it like school. So you would literally go through it 12 times to graduate from that particular class or course or topic. And so when I personally catch myself in that thinking of, oh, I've already taken that class once, or, oh, I've already taken that class 3 or 4 times, I've been learning to zip it. And the reality is, yes, I've taken that class. However, the teacher could be different. The curriculum could have been updated. I've grown because I heard it the first time and I went and applied it, and there's been growth or change in my life. And so now when I come and hear this class again, I'm hearing it with new ears as though I haven't taken the class before. And so I would challenge our thinking that when, oh, I've already read that book, read it again. You know, there are so many times when I've read a book like this one, and I go, oh, I've read this multiple times. And yet I pick it up again, I flip the page and I look at it and I go, I've read this book numerous times, and yet I feel like I just had this epiphany moment of hearing it, something totally new that I was like, was that really there when I was reading it before? So something that really makes us unique as Keller Williams agents is that we're learning-based individuals. Knowing for doing's sake, not knowing for knowing's sake. There are many people who are very smart, and yet, in my opinion, it's almost like it's sad because they're so smart and yet they haven't learned how to actually apply it to relationships and to their life. And so here it shows just a graph of the trivial pursuits that lead to nowhere. You know for knowing's sake, I know what I know and I'll ignore everything else because I've essentially decided that this is what I know and this is where I'm going to stay. Whereas doing or knowing for the doing's sake, the learning-based individual says, I know what I know, and there's more to know. And so there's this enlightenment that happens inside, and then there's this productivity that happens outside. And there's this experience of higher self-actualization, meaning I want to grow into everything that I was created to be with purpose and significance. And so I'm going to choose to have a mindset of curiosity. I'm going to choose to not be the know-it-all. I'm going to choose to put myself in rooms where I'm not the smartest person. I'm going to choose to put myself into mastermind groups, brainstorming conversations where people are going to talk about things from different angles that I may have never thought about myself. And so that's knowing for doing's sake. There are 4 levels of competency. You start the process at level 1, which is unconscious incompetence. So I know I don't know what I don't know. For example, and this is a good one. If you've never driven a car, you have no idea how complicated it is, right? And then you move to the next level, which is conscious competence. I'm going to say it again. Step 1, unconscious incompetence. Step 2 is conscious incompetence. At level 2, you know what you don't know. For example, once you start to drive, you might figure out that parallel parking can be a challenge. Then you move to step 3. If you apply wisdom to your knowledge, you will move to level 3, which is conscious competence. And in our example, this is where you become proficient at parallel parking, though you may have to focus on each step. Over time, with additional practice, your competence becomes a habit and you move to level 4, which is unconscious competence. At this level, you could readily parallel park while you're singing along to the radio. Attain unconscious competence in your 20% tasks to unlimit your success. And so here's the visual graph. 1, unconscious incompetence. We don't know what we don't know. 2, conscious incompetence. We know what we don't know. And then there's conscious competence, which is now we know. And 4 is unconscious competence. Now we just do it without thinking. And this is something we've talked about in our other sessions. If you're looking to add in some new habits into your life, the best way to do it is to attach it to something you're already doing on a regular basis in that level, 4th level of unconscious competence. For example, you brush your teeth every morning and you do it a certain way. And so if you wanted to add in something to your morning routine, it would be that you put it right next to your toothbrush, because that's something you're doing now that has just become level 4 habit that you just do. And you could literally do it. Like, have you ever driven home from somewhere and you're like, how did I even get here? It's because you're doing it at that level 4. You're so familiar with what's going on that now all of a sudden you do have other thoughts that are swirling around in your brain. So at Keller Williams, we learn for earning's sake, and it's all about mindset, leadership, and like what we said, that internal process, which then impacts our external processes, which brings to productivity. So there's tools that you can use, and I'm going to share my screen and log into a few different places so that you can get more familiar. High achievers reach their goals by making training, education, and self-development the foundational pieces of their action plan. The first step is looking at the curriculum path. So I'm going to stop this share. Actually, hang on one sec. I'm going to do it this way. Let's see if we can do it this way. Okay, so on my screen right now, I have agent curriculum path, and there's a red circle that has everyone. Do you see that with me?
Yep.
Okay, so when you're with Keller Williams, there's this foundational list of classes that everyone should take regardless of what position you're in. The first one is Grow Your Profit Share Tree, and I just taught that last Friday. So we have the link, and it's available. If you're with our office, it's in our calendar links. If you're not with our office, please let me know, and I'll send you the YouTube link direct. The next class is the 6 Personal Perspectives, which is where you are right now in session 4. Then the next class is called Customer Experience. All of us are in this line of work because we care about people and we want to serve them well. And this class is incredible because it breaks it down in such a way that it really just starts to make you look at things in a different way so that you can look at what your clients are experiencing through that process, which will in turn help their experience and then help your business continue to grow. Basic agent financials, and then win-win negotiations. When agents are in the first launch phase of their business, meaning that they've closed anywhere from 0 to 16 annual transactions, Ignite is an incredible class to take, and everyone should take it right now because they're coming out with Ignite 2.0. So in June, you're going to see this whole new curriculum. They have mixed it up completely. And so when agents go, oh, I already took Ignite, no, you haven't, because this curriculum is going to be brand new. Then the next one is the lead generation series, which breaks it down into working with buyers, win the buyers, or win the sellers. And then there's the achievement phase, everything based on the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book and all the courses that go with it, along with career visioning, the leverage series. We have an incredible assessment, if you haven't taken it, that helps you identify your strength zones and then plug into specific lead generation activities that bring you joy, bring you energy. So when you're happy doing those things, you want to do them more. And then it says want more. There's a shift series as well as the one thing. Now for the leadership path, and this is something that I would encourage everyone, regardless of your position, to be looking at and considering for long-term planning, is that for me, I got into real estate and, you know, I didn't get into real estate thinking, oh, I would love to have my own team someday, or I would love to be a trainer, teacher. I just wanted to get into real estate, one, to serve people, and two, to get out of debt and to create a better plan for my family than I had at the time. What happens though is you start surrounding yourself with people who are big thinkers, and all of a sudden your mind starts opening up to possibilities. Well, if that person could do that, maybe I could do that. And that person's willing to teach me or train me or show me the path. And so this leadership curriculum path is really powerful. The first step is franchise system orientation. Then, depending on what potential leadership opportunities you want to position yourself for, there's the operating principal, someone who oversees an office. There's the team leader, someone who helps grow the office. And then there's the market center administrator, someone who literally is kind of the building the fortress of systems and people and the administration part of a Keller Williams office. And as you can see, sometimes they take similar classes, and then other times it's a completely different series of classes based on their positions. So for example, team leader, recruiting great agents, growth through value, the ALC clinic, market center financials, the leverage series, train the presenter, train the trainer, advanced workshop. So this for me personally was the path. Even though I didn't really know what I wanted, I thought, okay, this is the path. I'm going to put myself in these classes. I'm going to stop and think about what books I should be reading, what podcasts I should be listening to based on what it is that I wanted to be able to grow in. So anyway, I just wanted to show you guys kind of that, that one page. Now, I'm going to stop share. And I want to do a new share with my Google Chrome. And I want to go into my KW. So on the screen, let's just confirm I'm logging into the behind the scenes for Keller Williams agents. And on the screen right now, can you guys see my name, my headshot photo, and yes, my profile? Perfect. Yep. So here, when you click on education, it's going to launch into Kdub Connect. And the way I know that is because up in the corner now it's switched over to Kdub Connect. The very first option over here on the left-hand side says Kdub Opportunities. So if you just wanted to like dream a little and, you know, because the homework for this class is that we're going to rebuild our growth plan for 2020, because 2020 is looking different than how we had planned it last October, November, and we'll get to that in a minute. However, I want to show you some different places that you can go to kind of dream a little and envision and imagine what things could potentially be. So here's you in the center. And then if you love training and coaching opportunities, there's educate, there's serving opportunities, there's growth, there's wealth building, leadership opportunities, and business ownership. So for example, let's say you love educating, training, coaching. So you click on the circle And so now here on the screen, can you see this with me? It says Bold Coach, Kdub Kids Can Instructor, Keller Williams University Approved Trainer, Keller Williams Young Professionals. So each one of these you could click on, and let's say Keller Williams Young Professionals, what you do. You're a member of KWYP, which means that you're receiving unique training opportunities to grow your leadership and business skills. It's preparing future leaders. So I went through this program a few years ago, and here are the qualifications. Click here for more. You have to be an associate under 40 years old. Here's the training classes that you should sign up for and attend. And then here are some different resources on Kdub Connect, specifically Kdub Connect Live, that you can click into. So this is a great tool for you to be able to go in and just visualize and ask yourself long-term plans. Where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years? And, you know, if wealth building is something, then here, the growth share, profit share, market center investor, real estate investor. So you can click here, and then it says, okay, click here. Here are the classes to take. Here are the books to read. So anyway, just wanted to show you that that is an option for us. And I want to jump back over here and see if it will let me do this on my desktop.
Where did it say books to read? I didn't see that.
When you click into these different links, it will take you to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
actually, it's gonna walk us through here and just.
Thanks, Rebecca.
Let me. Okay. So on my screen, I'm sharing Agent Curriculum Launch, and there's a big box for Ignite. Do you see that with me?
Yes.
Awesome. So like I said, Ignite is about to launch in June. Make sure that you are all in for that. Bold is coming, and that's the other one. Bold changed my life. After I went through, I mean, there were a ton of classes I'd taken with Keller Williams. However, Bold was a mindset class of how I view myself, how I will. One of the exercises I'll never forget was just saying out loud some of the crazy things that you tell yourself without even realizing it, just these limiting beliefs. And the exercise of sharing those experiences with someone else that's trained to help you walk through it, it was just mind-blowing. And the growth that happens. So Bold is typically a $799 class. It's now being offered for $99. And so if you want more information, we can drop the link in the chat box, or just message me and I'll get you the info for it. The next class is Time Management with the 411 tool. Now, we touched on this a couple sessions ago. This is a tool that Gary Keller has found is the most, well, this is the secret sauce, because Harvard School of Business went and studied the people that were in business school that were great at putting plans together. However, when they followed up with them 10, 15, 20 years later, there was only a very small group of people who actually achieved what it was they had on their plan. And it was because most people put together a plan in January for the year, and then they don't look at it until the next January. Whereas we're trained at Keller Williams that, one, we business plan in September, October for the next year, right? So that we have time to really kind of tweak and make sure the plan is what we want it to be. And then it's not just something that we're looking at once a quarter or even once a month. It's a tool that we look at. It's been built in such a way that we're supposed to look at it weekly, so that we're taking these baby steps on our success list, not just a to-do list. And so that's a few sessions ago. Great class that goes really deep into how to use the tools. The next one is the lead generation series, 36-12-3, how to close 36 more transactions in your business. This is a great class, and I actually traveled around the Northwest region last year and was able to teach it. And so really great elements. The cool part about these classes, you guys, is when I learned about them, I'd been with Keller Williams for like, I don't know, 11, 12 years. And all of a sudden I'm like, wow, these classes exist and they've never been offered at a local level or in my office. And so as a Keller Williams agent, you can jump on and download the material and start feeding yourself. Nothing worse than someone who, comes up with excuses or goes into that victim mentality of like, oh, well, no one showed me, or I don't know how to do this, or I didn't get trained well. I'm with you. It's painful. And yet if you're hungry, there is curriculum for you to just sink your teeth into all over Kdub Connect. And the lead generation is broken down into 12 sessions. And it's really specific. It's like, if you want to grow your lead gen for your sphere of influence, if you want to grow your lead gen for your mission statement and your value proposition as an agent and as a team, how to master canceled listings and expireds and for sale by owners, how to master an open house. Like, it really breaks it down. So really great curriculum. Win the buyers we talked about, win the sellers. And then you get to that achievement stage where there's the millionaire real estate agent curriculum. And so everyone can, go to Amazon and download this book or buy a copy and read this book, right? However, Gary Keller has given us a gift. He's taken this book and then he broke it down into, what does a buyer's agent look like? What does a seller specialist look like? What kind of checklist should you have in your business? There is never-ending zip folders that have just endless samples of how to build a client appreciation program, how to establish business practices, how do you dress, how do you answer the phone. One of the coolest things is when he started Keller Williams in 1983, the first receptionist was trained. It's a great day at Keller Williams International. How may I help you? And that's how we answer our phones. It's a great day at Keller Williams. So on your own team and in your own business, are you establishing your operations manual, essentially, right? These are the kinds of things that we're going to do consistently across the board to offer great service. The cool part about It's a Great Day at Keller Williams International is that there was only one office at the time. And she asked him, and she's like, isn't this the only office you have? And he said, well, for today it is. He is such a visionary. He's created such a large universe of opportunity that each one of us can have our worlds within it, which is awesome. So MREA curriculum, leverage series, career visioning. If you haven't taken your Keller personality assessment, ask to do that, and we can have it verified to just make sure that it's accurate and really assessing who you are and what makes you tick. Then there's the leverage series of the 30, 60, 90. So within 30 days in this specific role, what are the markers to know that you're winning? All of it's downloadable on Kdub. Actually, I should show you this one because this one's pretty cool. On Kdub Connect. So let me go and share this. Okay, so I'm back in Kdub Connect. And here I am hovering over the resources, and then 3 from the bottom is leverage. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. And so here are some crazy, amazing tools. First hire calculator, download this tool to figure out when it's time for you to hire your own assistant. Leverage classes, the Keller personality assessment, organizational charts of how to build out your team, organizational charts, job profiles. So like agent teams, onboarding documents, like you name it. So for instance here, job profile for the market center. If you're like, I'm curious, I wonder, what is the job profile, of a particular role? You can go in here, download now, and then it will show you, and let's see if it shares correctly. It's going to be a Word document. So let's see. Can you see the job title on the screen right now?
Yeah, I can see team leader job profile.
Cool. So here it shows, here's your job description. Here are the essential duties and responsibilities. Who are the people that you interact with?
So that we can't see. I can see your cursor moving around, but I don't see an actual job description. I just see on the left where it says MC team leader job profile, but I don't see like a document open.
Okay, hang on one sec. Let me go back. So for instance, Market Center Tech Coordinator, I'm going to download this and see if it's on my desktop this way.
Now I can see it.
Tech Coordinator,
Yes.
who we're looking for, the job description, what are you going to do, who will you be communicating with, how frequently will you be communicating with them, what kind of knowledge and skills should you have, and then on the Keller personality assessment, it actually shows the highest impact traits. And then each one you can go in and see, for instance, like, you know, okay, Rebecca, I need to hire an assistant, but I just don't even know what I would be training her on within the first 30 days of her being in that role. And so here under the tools, the onboarding tools, there's literally an expectation sheet and the conversation, and then the 411 template, and what does success look like. So, I mean, you can spend hours here downloading documents. And so I always tell people, when you are thinking, you know, I need to do this, so many times people instantly kind of go, oh, I need to go and like reinvent the wheel. I got to go open a Word document and start typing out this new job description, when in actuality, you don't. Are there people who have gone before you? Yes. Are there people who have already set up systems and models and tools for you to use? Absolutely. So it's just your job to go and learn where to navigate to get to those things. So anyway, I wanted to show that to you guys. Trust that was helpful. Okay, so back to our packet. I've opened so many. Here we go. All right, so can you see that leverage series 30, 60, 90 on the screen?
Yes.
Awesome. Next one is success through others. And then it goes into agent curriculum all. So grow your profit share tree, wealth building workshop, quantum leap. And it has a description of each class and how you can use these particular classes to grow. So making learning based the foundation of your mindset, there are so many books to read. And like I said, even if you've read it before, read it again, because you're different. You've changed, you've grown, something in your life has changed, or circumstances have changed, so that when you read it, it's going to be something that is just brand new. Millionaire real estate agent, millionaire real estate investor, shift commercial, flip, hold, the one thing. They've gone on to give us all these incredible books that you can read. And the one thing I will say is incredible, because it's not just for real estate agents, it's for anyone who wants to cut through the clutter, achieve better results in less time. It's a great book. It has an incredible podcast as well. And that's something I wanted to just kind of talk about now, is how do you take this curriculum now and implement it into your real life right now? So online tools, Kdub Maps coaching, events, we've got masterminds coming up, and Bold, like we talked about. So now what you're going to do is you're going to plan your learning path. You're not just going to be haphazard about it and say, you know, oh, I'm going to read a book a month. Well, which book, which 12 books do you want to commit to reading in the next year, next 12 months? And then literally put together a growth plan. What podcasts are you going to listen to on a regular basis? And how do you do that? When it's something that is important enough to you, you put it on your calendar, and it becomes this reoccurring event that you've got this time block for work time that you're going to be listening to the podcast on this topic. Or books. One of the best life hacks that I could tell you guys is Blinkist. It's a great app where it's almost like Cliff Notes for 2020. Anyone remember Cliff Notes? I'm 41 now, so Cliff Notes were a big deal. They were yellow. They gave you kind of the overview of the book, so you didn't have to read the whole thing. Blinkist is amazing. Not all books are on there. A lot of really good books are. And then it always, based on your reading, it then recommends what you should read next and why. And then there's an option where you can read the blinks or you can listen to the audio of the blinks. And because I'm dyslexic, one of the things I found is that if I listen to it while I'm reading it, my retention is a lot higher. And so that's something that there's a free life hack for you. Excuse me, consciously incompetent. What don't you know? Look back on pages 61 through 71 at the courses, the books, and other resources that you just haven't tapped into yet, and choose at least 3, because statistics show that based on our conversation right now, people who take action within 24 hours of gaining the new knowledge are the ones who achieve at a higher level. So take 3 things and then pick one. What's one thing that you could do right now in the next 30 minutes based on what you've learned of our time together that you could go and maybe it's listen to the One Thing podcast or the Think Like a CEO podcast. Let's use that as an example. So, gosh, I didn't know there was a podcast like that. Great. Okay. So now I'm going to time block on my calendar that this is something that I time block once a week, that I'm going to listen to this podcast. So I'm going to block, 30 minutes. And when it's done, then I can literally put done next to it. And you get the point. It's now a reoccurring event on my calendar that's going to pop up and tell me this is something I need to do. Really commit to learning. If you have a smartphone, go online, register for classes, get familiar, click around in that Kdub opportunities, click around and really dig in to the different things, because one of the things I've found is many times, people will say like, oh, I don't know when I should hire an assistant. There's a calculator for that. Oh, I don't know what my job description should be if I hire someone on my team to do this. There's already a job description. You just have to click, download the Word document, and maybe backspace a few things, edit it to make it your own. The tool is already there for you. Go on Amazon and type in the word name Gary Keller, and you'll find a bunch of different tools available to you there. And then it says, make sure that you add this to your 411. Think strategically and think about relationships. So right now, invite someone to Bold. When Ignite's running, invite someone to that. I'm going to invite this person or this agent to this particular class to go with me. So for right now, it would be, I will invite blank agent to Bold with me. Next one is I'll share this tool with this person. Now that I know that this exists, who do I know that needs to know about these tools? I'm going to share it with at least one person. And then I'll give someone the name, I'll give this book to someone. So what book have I read that absolutely impacted me so much so that I now want to go and give the book to someone else? So with that, I want to stop my share for a sec. And I have a book that's come to mind while I'm sharing, and I just want to go to gallery view so I can see all of your lovely faces. One of the very first books that I ever was recommended to read when I joined Keller Williams was, I just went blank, Failing Forward by John Maxwell. If you have not read that book, it is so good. And I'm going to find the visual. Someone was just talking about this on another class, and it's a quote, and it has the visual of a bicycle. And it says, people are always wanting balance in their life. So imagine someone sitting on a bike. If you're sitting on a bike, it's hard to balance. You're not going to be able to without putting your feet on the ground, right? However, if you start putting something into action, putting something into motion, and you start putting one foot in front of the other to pedal, all of a sudden this one single little, bike can balance itself because it's taken action. And for us, that's something that we can use to essentially anything. I think right now a lot of people are kind of in that state of freezing, and they're not sure what to do, so they're not doing anything at all. And yet if you just take one baby step, just one little thing towards whatever it is that it's action. When we take action, all of a sudden it kind of motivates us to do more. So for me, my book recommendation is all the ones I just said, and Failing Forward by John Maxwell. Now, I'd love for you guys to unmute yourself. And if there's a book that comes to mind that you're like, oh my gosh, this book really did impact me or kind of blow my mind, I'd love to hear it. Go ahead and unmute yourself, and I'm going to be taking notes of what other books I should be adding to my growth plan.
I can't think of the author's name, and I don't have it here. It's actually at the office, but it's Fierce Conversations.
Yes,
That's
a good one.
It's a really, it opened my eyes about myself. Like, I thought I was this great communicator, but
Totally. There's someone knocking at my door, and so Erin, would you mind taking it from here for just a second and take note of everyone's recommendations? I'll be right back.
Sure, absolutely. Other books? Anybody have anything they want to share?
I don't have an additional book to add, but I have read The One Thing, and it really has changed my perspective on life in general, just not about real estate, but how I perceive and look at my life and being as a mom, as business and all of that. So I really enjoyed that book.
I have that on PDF. If anyone doesn't have that, I'm happy to forward it to them.
Great. Well, any, even if it's not a book, podcast?
I read Daring Greatly recently by Brene Brown. That's a really great one.
Yeah, I love that one too.
Did you say Daring Greatly?
Mm-hmm.
And what did you like about it, Joelle?
Gosh, it's inspirational. I feel like it was directed more internally towards me and not towards business. But it was just inspiring and uplifting, and it's a good read.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
One that I remember reading was, I think it's called The 4-Hour Workweek. And the thing that I liked about it is it talks a lot about time blocking, and that helped me. I don't have a 4-hour workweek, but I thought if you're unfamiliar with kind of how time blocking can help things feel manageable and productive, that's a really good one, and it's a fairly quick read too.
I read one recently, Millionaire Success Habits, and it's kind of similar to The One Thing, but it more helps bring out your motivation. It's a really good one.
Great.
Sorry
Rebecca,
about that, guys.
It's okay. We got a handful of book suggestions. So
Awesome.
we'll have to figure out where to collect those so everybody can access them. Maybe
Yeah, we should add it to my recommended reading on my Real Career site. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
We have we did our, sleep on this mattress for 101 days, and you can send it back if you're not completely satisfied, and we're not completely satisfied. So the guys are here to take that mattress away. So I'm like, I don't want them to drive away without taking what they need to today. Sorry about that. And if you have a mattress you love, I would love a recommendation, because right now I'm not a big fan of purple. Okay, so 6 personal perspectives. This is session 4, being learning based. We've shared books that have impacted us and that we can add to our growth plan. And so I'm going to be reviewing my growth plan. It's what classes I plan to attend and I'm not able to anymore that I could potentially do online, what books I was planning on reading and upping my reading time, because we've got the time to be able to do that. And then on your growth plan, just give yourself permission to kind of shift and go about it in a different way that, for instance, for me, like I was on the path for Keller Williams Master Faculty. August would have been my audition, to get that. I can't do that right now because they judge you on live classes. So what can I do? I can keep learning my craft by teaching these classes. I can keep attending classes online to keep learning, keep growing, and just know that there will be a time when I can do that. It's just not going to be the timeline that I had originally forecasted. Anyone else relate? All right, guys. So the 6 personal perspectives will continue again next week. And I love this class because I feel like it covers so many things that we can take to apply to our world as a parent, as a partner, as a spouse. Next week, we're going to be talking about being accountable and how to, I don't know, at least for me, numerous times throughout my day, I get into victim mindset. It's so easy to blame other people. It's so easy to just, whine and gripe and complain about others. And yet the reality is it's me. Like I can control how all of this impacts me based on boundaries, based on my own mindset. And so next week is a really great topic. There was a question in the chat box about if these other classes are recorded, and yes, they are. And so Rebecca D at kw.com, we'll drop that in the chat box. That's my email. And if you are not a part of Keller Williams yet, or you want access to those, just let me know. Rebecca D, thanks, Erin, at kdub.com. They are recorded so that you can watch them back. Any other questions for me before we jump off? All right, guys, thanks for joining in. Hope you have a wonderful Wednesday, and I will talk with you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye, thanks.
Good to see all your smiling
Yeah,
faces.
bye. Thank you.